All right, you're welcome along to the very final shot clock of 2019. It'll be coming back in 2020, and we'll take your suggestions on board. If there's anything you want us to do different, if there's anything that you think would make this part of the show better, then we're all ears. But for now, this is the last time that I get to torment Kieran by absolutely hammering him on the shot clock. Our first topic is financial doping. Call it what you will. This is the amount of money that Dublin gets versus everybody else. It had become a hot button topic over the last 18 months, 2 years. I think that if we're going to start talking about the finances, then we need to radically approach this in a different manner, where all of the sponsorship that's raised by inter-county teams is pooled and then given back to teams as per their need. We should also be stepping in to make sure that county boards are run properly, so different counties can't run up millions and millions of fees every year. There should be the same strength and conditioning across the entire country, but generally just making sure that everybody is on a level playing field when it comes to sponsorship, so the population size doesn't dictate just how much money is going straight back to your team. That's one suggestion that I have on this, Kieran. What's yours? Yeah,
no, I agree with all that, but what I don't agree with is the narrative over the last number of days that it's this Dublin team, because they've won 5 in a row, that it's somehow linked to what's going on and on the general side of things. You know, I think for me it's, you know, we have to help the weaker counties, of course. Dublin would agree with that themselves, they know that. But this Dublin team could have lost 2 of their All-Irelands in their drive for 5. They should have lost that one to Mayo, and they possibly should have lost to Kerry 2 weeks ago. So, you know, they've, in both those games, when they were put to the pin of their collar, they found a way, Ger, to get back. They found a way to kind of dig themselves out of that massive hole under the most extreme of pressures, especially last week. And I think, you know, those players in that team should be celebrated for the way they were able to dig themselves out of it and do a 5 in a row in an era that we thought 5 in a row could never be done. It's wrong to suggest that anything is. And you know, the strength and conditioning is an interesting one. We could all have strength and conditioning coaches. We could all, you know, but the bottom dollar is if you're a young player now in Dublin and you're given a strength and conditioning programme, and you have the opportunity to go represent Dublin and continue this legacy that they're building at the moment, you're going to do that strength and conditioning, you're going to do that weight, you're going to put on that size, you're going to dedicate your life to it, you're going to not drink, you're going to not go to weddings, you're going to not live a life outside of GA, because you have this opportunity to play in front of 82,000 every week in this huge venue and for this huge team. The same strength and conditioning programmes can be given to a player in a Division 4 county. They're not getting any exposure. You know, how long are we going to be in this during the summer? This championship that I'm going to be training all year for could get 2 games in the championship. Is it really worth it? Do they do the same strength and conditioning to the same level? Probably not. So, you know, these Dublin guys have really bought into it more than anybody else in the GA, and I think it's, you know, down to the fact that they've got something to really look forward to, and they know they're going to be a part of a special team and a special setup. So you can put all the money you want into strength and conditioning. Everybody has good strength and conditioning coaches these days, Ger. It's, you know, strength and conditioning guys can't make you bigger. They give you a platform, and it's you that has to go to the gym every day during the winter to get bigger.
Exactly, and that the real point about the problem with Gaelic football at the moment is our next point, which is championship structures. We're playing the hits today because it's the final one of the year, but we have to come back to this because now is the perfect time to talk about this. There is going to be a new structure put forward before a special congress, but it doesn't work and it doesn't address the fundamental issues which I think we've talked about repeatedly on Shot Clock, and which you fixed with your championship structures, Kieran. This is completely the wrong way we're going about this.
Yeah, I think it's been forced. I think it's been rushed through. I think John is in essence, he's trying to do the right thing, but I just think it's a bit rushed and it's a bit forced. And you know, if you're a player in those counties and you don't want to do it, you know, you've got to go contact your county board. But like, we do need to tier the structure in the championship, but I think it needs a championship format. We need to revamp the whole season, you know, including league games. You know, we need to, you know, the league is the best competition. It's played at the worst time of year. Teams are travelling all over the place at bad time of years. On our Shot Clock Championship preview, we suggested that we play the provincial championships in a round-robin series where every team gets 4 or 5 games to try and win their provincial championship in February and March. April is club months. County boards are made play county championship games for that month, so we get a few rounds of the county championship where, you know, people get to play and maybe have 1 league game the first week in April and then 3 rounds of the championship. So you obviously your county guys will be fit coming back in. Your club players can train. we get to June, July and August for our May is your championship kind of pre-season month where you get ready for your league championship format that we've kind of mixed up, which I think is very important. You get a month to kind of prepare and get the bodies ready for that series of 7 games. We did the groups, 2 groups of 8 in both tiers, and I think teams would like that. I think you give the club players the month of July off. That's important for the club players. They know they have a month of July off. They can organise birthday parties, they can organise holidays, they can organise trips away with their wife, and that they don't have to do what people are doing all over the country, cancelling trips, cancelling holidays, because club championship games are just thrown out of the air. I think for also any team, I think it's important that teams get a bit of a run championship football in summer. One, having the provincial championships in February and March, local derbies, everybody playing against each other, great atmospheres, good crowds at the games. Then you
and a trophy at the end of it.
And a trophy at the end of it. And everybody, you keep the history of the GAA going with your Munster Championships, your Leinster Championships. You give this as well, Ger. You got to put this out a year in advance. And your top 2 divisions in the league, Division 1, Division 2 will play for the Sam Maguire, and Division 3 and Division 4 will go down. So teams have a year to know that, look, okay, we need to stay in Division 2 this year, lads, if we want to go for Sam Maguire. It ramps up the leagues that year. It's not a surprise to anybody. You don't have the situation where if it was brought in this year, Cork would be like, okay, we're down in Division 3, that was a mistake by us. But certainly these are all things we need to do. But the club player is very important in this. And, I think the club player having some structure to their season would be great. And I think every Division 3, Division 4, Division 2, Division 1, every team guaranteed 7 championship games during the summer months. Teams getting a bit of momentum, managers being able to actually work on something besides playing 2 games, be knocked out of the championship, all your players shoot off to America. You can't build a culture in that, you can't build any bit of momentum in that, you can't get fans to buy into that by playing one game away.
My prediction is if they go ahead with the changes as suggested at the moment, that the weaker counties will be absolutely decimated, because you're far better off going to America and making a little bit of cash and having the summer than playing in this B championship that the players don't actually want as it's currently constituted. I think players do want a meaningful second tier summer championship competition that gives them a prospect of progress.
Where you play 7 games and you have something to build to, and you know the teams you're playing, you can figure out what games you need to win, big games that are huge games, and then
you can aspire to go up to the top tier.
Absolutely, you get into the semi-finals of Tier 2. You're the top 2 teams in both Tier 2 groups. You get to jump in for your championship. You're into the Sam Maguire the year after. You have a bit of momentum. You have a bit of feel-good policy about yourself. You've played in Croke Park. The big thing is how you promote this. So every week that the GAA show 4 or 5 games, you show 2 Tier 1 games, you show 2 Tier 2 games, and you market the best 2 Tier 2 games to play. But that's very important, and I think it's something that we need to, if this one doesn't pass, we need to have a real think about the whole format of football in this country. I've taken on the Tralee IT job. The colleges, their situation is very tough, and we need to figure out a better way to run the whole system. Not just say, oh, you're Division 3 or Division 4, you're beaten, or you go into that competition there. I think it's too rushed. And I saw an article yesterday saying Tommy Murphy Mark 3, and that's no good for anybody.
Here's what your tiers look like. The lower tier week 1 fixtures: Waterford, Offaly, Louth, Sligo, Derry against Cork, Wexford against London, Longford against Wicklow, Carlow against Tip, Antrim against Leitrim.
Exactly, like in that Tier 2 now, you'd have Derry and Cork above an Owen Beg, and you'd maybe Down and Limerick or Carlow and Tipperary. But every week, you have teams of an equal ability playing each other, and every 2 games a week from that Tier 2 is going to be on TV. It'll be exciting, the games will be good. Everybody will watch those games. What we don't want to watch and what we're sick of watching is Division 1 teams that are kind of marching all over.
They're hammering teams.
Hammering teams, yeah.
So here's what Tier 1 would have been at the start of last season: Meath, Galway, Tyrone, Fermanagh, Kerry, Roscommon, Clare, Laois, Cavan, Monaghan, Donegal versus Dublin and Ballybuffet, Westmeath against Kildare and Mullingar, and Mayo against Armagh and Castlebar.
Yes.
Mayo against Armagh was a great game.
Mayo against Armagh was an unbelievable game in Castlebar. The atmosphere, again, electric, summer months.
Meath and Galway would be good.
Meath and Galway would be great.
Was in Roscommon, you would say would be a better game.
And Donegal v Dublin would be great. And you put these games on a Saturday and a Sunday, and you show highlights on both nights of the games, so everybody's getting a bit of exposure. But certainly, I think for any team to be guaranteed, and you've 7 championship games during the 3 summer months, and the club player knows Okay, June we're going to have league games. July we're off. August we've got league games again, and we're going to get everybody bar the teams that are playing in semi-finals in Croke Park and finals. Their championship will be kicking off in September, so they have structure around their season.
And everybody knows from the get-go.
Everybody knows from the get-go. It isn't, when we don't know when we're playing championship. It'll be 2 weeks whenever we're beaten, lads, but we don't know when we're going to be beaten, so it's up in the air.
You were talking about people moving holidays or weddings or stuff. Most people don't. They just stop playing. That's why players drop out at 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, I read David Gillick, the pro athletics Irish star, and he was playing a bit of football, and in the end he just said, I'm going to play 5-a-side. I'm sick of this. Games being changed, games being cancelled, games being moved. I can't organise anything. I had my brother's wedding last year, going over with my 2 daughters and my wife to a big day for our family, our first kind of family holiday as well as a group, and a wedding in Marbella, and I'm at the wedding on a Friday night, trying to make a speech without drink, and getting up the following morning at 6 o'clock to head to the airport to get back, to fly into Cork, to drive straight to Austin Stacks Park, to play Dingle in a championship game, to lose by 7 points, to drive home, fly back out to Marbella on a Sunday and fly back home again on a Tuesday. But it ruined my brother's wedding, it ruined my family holiday. But club players are going to do that all over the country, and club players are doing it because that's what's expected you of as of a club player. So it'd be great, I think, for the club player to have structure around his year, to know what he's doing, and the county player structure. Now a county player, doesn't matter where he is, he knows, okay, we've got 7 games during the summer, these are the games we're playing, we're going to be away here, home here. You know, you get a bit of momentum, you get something to build on for the year after. What can you build on for the year after as a coach or a team if you play 2 games in the championship, Ger? Nothing. Right, rant over. Right, so the Shot Clock Championship got big, got a good reaction, and I think
it's still exactly the same problem, and it's not been addressed over the summer by the new plans to fix it.
That's in essence, it's not great. Your topic 3 is I want to get your take on penalties being taken by players that are not the penalty takers in huge games. Have managers lost the plot, or have players lost the plot, or is it a case of both? Like, why isn't Lampard the last day roaring? Why isn't Solskjaer going, Pogba, get away from the penalty, Rashford is our penalty taker? What is this about, and why has it happened so much lately? It was always a thing, every club, we knew Shearer was taking the penalties, we knew the players who took the penalties for a club. Why has it changed? There
was a little bit of at Arsenal when Thierry Henry would get fouled, he wouldn't take it for whatever reason. I think it was just because he was such good friends with Bobby Pires, and he wanted Bobby Pires to have
a few goals.
Yeah, the goal bonuses. I think it was like probably he was helping his buddy make a bit more cash. But why Ross Barkley is suddenly taking penalties? Why Frank Lampard, who was such a brilliant penalty taker, hasn't got this thing nailed down? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it looks like he's nailed down because,
but there was 3 of them on the ball. 3 of them. I want to do.
Well, I think Willian was kind of going, hold on, I'm next in line here. There's definitely not you. You definitely can't be the next guy in line. But just let the regular penalty taker take it. It's a big game for Chelsea. The last day, it's Champions League. It's against Valencia. It's a tough enough group. It's your home game. You would have wanted to win, but look, a draw. You take a draw, and this guy.
It's almost like they don't practice penalties in English football for some reason.
Yeah. I think it's like, my opinion is, when you take that penalty, you're putting such pressure on yourself. Oh no, I got this, this is my penalty. He's patting his chest, he's telling everybody he's going to score. And then he's that little time where he stands over the ball, and all of a sudden it kind of dawns into his brain with, Jesus, if I miss this, I'm going to look like a complete idiot right now for taking this penalty. And
who's that on the right? Oh, it's Frank Lampard. And Paulo Di Canio is not giving that ball back, and he doesn't give the ball back, and he whacks it in the year 2000. I don't know if he did a Panenka with that one, but certainly Di Canio scores. There's a desire there. I'm taking the penalties. Now, Frank Lampard obviously has that experience in his locker, and he's allowing it to continue. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, he's like, it's...
Practice the penalties.
Yeah, but I'm sure they do, though, Ger.
And then the winner is the winner, and he's taking all the penalties forever.
Yeah, competition. Yeah, competitions can be funny. Not always the best penalty taker on your team wins that penalty shootout.
Did you ever take penalties?
I took a few. wouldn't have been. It was the old GA marker was way out. It was 14 yards out. I missed one or two, and I quickly got away. There was a time I was taking 45s, frees off the ground, penalties.
For Kerry?
No, not for Kerry.
Right.
No, in fairness, we had some great penalty takers. Brian Sheehan was a serious spot kick taker. You know, he technique and he knew where he was putting it, and he had a great strike of a ball. So I think your
if
guy.
Brian Sheehan is on the field and Gooch goes, I'm taking it.
No, see, it just wouldn't happen. That's my point. That's what's freaking me out about it. It's bonkers stuff. Just let the regular penalty taker take the penalty, please, from now on. That's everybody. That's all for every youth soccer team, GA team out there. Whoever's designated by the manager to take the penalty, let the penalty taker take it.
Yeah, make your mind up. It's almost like they don't realise scoring goals is important in big games.
Come on.
Especially when you've got a one-on-one with the keeper.
From 8 yards out, and I saw the keeper as well for Valencia. He looked tiny in the goals. I says to Hillary when Barkley was standing over, well, look at the size of the keeper, look at the size of the goals. He's so close, he can't miss.
He's like that 5'9" Bulgarian who played against us a couple of weeks back. That we should have been pinging them in from 60 yards. Right, next one is Team of the Year. Shot Clock Team of the Year as picked by Kieran Donaghy. Who have you got? You've gone for Cluxton and goals, right? It has to be.
Has to be.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think he's best season in the last. Look, he's always brilliant, but I think this year. I think his saves this year were huge. You know, I think he had a kick out to Kilkenny in the second half of the first game, and it was, you know, people, Cluxton is 37, no, he can't kick it as long as he used to.
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can when he wants to. It's a narrow 70 yards out towards the Hogan stand and into Kilkenny's lap when they got an easy score off it. So, yeah, he's the man. I think Mick Fitzsimons was, you know, again, a standout player for this Dublin team and has been. I've gone with Johnny Cooper, full back. He had a tired time for 30 minutes, got a few unlucky calls, got the road, but I think as a leader back there, you know, and his versatility, and he's the guy that takes the short straw and picks up the best forward most of the time. So I've gone with Johnny Cooper, full back. Thomas Sullivan, who had a great year for Kerry, cornerback. He has to make it as well. Bar the 4 points that Con kicked the last day, I think he had only 2 points kicked off from the championship up until that. Jack McCaffrey, obviously at right half back, unbelievable all year. You know, he was under pressure in the Mayo game from Paddy Durcan, who's also on this team. But other than that, he's been, you know, and the first final was a masterclass in how to play at half back. James McCarthy at centre back. He's just. Been such a solid guy for this Dublin team, and he's another guy that had a poor day out the first day, but again showed his class and showed that class is permanent and rectified it.
Still had a goal line clearance that's very important.
Yeah, huge. But it was just a non James McCarthy like performance. He got turned over a few times. He kicked one out over the sideline. He didn't look like he'd legs. I think a lot of the guys, you know, I think that pressure that first day could have got to a few of them, not mentally, but just in their bodies. Paddy Durcan, left half back. We covered Mayo a lot this year with Sky Sports, Ger, and I thought Paddy Durcan was absolutely outstanding. David Moran and Brian Finton are kind of automatics for me in the middle of the field, the two best midfielders out there. Con O'Callaghan at 10, Seanie O'Shea at 11, Kieran Kilkenny at 12.
Con at 10.
Yeah.
He's getting into the team because you've got somebody else. So let me just point out that your 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 is missing somebody. So you've got Brian Fenton, you've got David Moore and Con O'Callaghan, Sean O'Shea and Kieran Kilkenny. Not there is Michael Murphy, and not there is Aidan O'Shea.
Yeah.
Neither of them makes your team of the year.
Yeah, because I think they're both centre forwards. And yeah, Seanie O'Shea was better, Ger.
See, I would have Sean O'Shea at 10, Michael Murphy at 11 and Kieran Kilkenny at 12, and I'd make room for Con in the full forward line because that's where he did all his damage.
Yeah.
Let's get to your full forward line because there's definitely one automatic and maybe two in that line.
Mannion is automatic.
He is, yeah. I think Mannion was in the running for Player of the Year but didn't quite make it in the end. He's not going to make the shortlist, I don't think. He might do, but I don't think so. 14 is Colin McShane.
Yeah.
Colin McShane had a good year, right? And it's a breakout year. And if there was a breakout year award, then I think he would probably be getting it. But I'm not having Colin McShane in my team ahead of Michael Murphy. Because that's what that is. 14 should be Con O'Callaghan, shouldn't it?
I don't know, I thought McShane for Tyrone this year was just unbelievable. And unbelievable in every game he played. like literally.
You know
like
a bit more about playing 14 than I do.
I do, and I covered him twice. His movement, his strength, any ball is a good ball. Very like Con Callaghan inside there.
Is he as good as Con Callaghan, do you think?
I think he's as good as is he as good as Conor Callaghan? That's a tough one, right? But what I will say about my team is Conor Callaghan can equally be lethal out of 10, whereas I don't think McShane would be a wing forward. As I think he's a note scorer, whereas I think Con could literally. I think you can play Con at half back and he'd be an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. Probably midfield, you wouldn't mightn't get away with him in the middle of the field, but any one of the top 6 spots he can play. And I just felt McShane really deserved to be in it this year. I thought he was outstanding, and obviously Clifford is, in my eyes as well, automatic. So the reason Con is at 10 is because he's the only one out of those 3 that I think that can play at half forward, and I think the inside 3 guys would break your heart scoring wise, and I think Con would break your heart scoring and winning breaks, soloing, carrying ball from 10, going back, turning guys over. So yeah, I think it's they're going to have to do something with that full forward line, because I don't know how they leave out. And I think the All-Stars, the All-Stars has to be your best 15 players of the season, and you figure it out, and they always they have really, in essence. I remember, I got one in 8, and I should have got one in 7, and I don't necessarily felt that, I should have got one in 8, but what they did is Sean Kavanagh was very good for that year for Tyrone. They moved him to the half forward line, and it opened up a spot for me to get 14. But I think that's what they possibly I think they do it now, just all forwards.
Yeah,
which is probably better, because it just frees them up to kind of to have their selection committee. But that's as good as a team as I wouldn't like to play that team.
No, it'd be pretty.
I was talking to Kieran Shannon yesterday. He's doing his team of the decade, and if you think there's arguments in this team, try and pick the team of the noughties. It'll be an interesting article by Kieran on Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing what he settles on.
Me too.
A few arguments over it.
So that is look. I think it is Colin McShane versus
Murphy.
Yeah. That's the last decision to be made.
Yeah. I just think, I think McShane was awesome. Any ball, high, low, indifferent, he was getting it, banging over the bar. He gave Kerry a very tough time in Croke Park.
This does matter to players, doesn't it? The All-Stars, they matter in the end.
They're nice to get. I don't know.
You hadn't got the one the year after, you deserved one.
Yeah, I was annoyed I didn't get one in 07, simply for the reason that the narrative that was being thrown at me that year was the second season syndrome, because I'd gotten the player of the year in 06, and I was kind of, I had a good year in 07, and I played well, and I led the line well, and I can't even remember who got it, to be honest, but I was just kind of I felt the narrative cost me out of it, you know what I mean? And
were you there on the night when you didn't get it?
Do you know what? No, I wasn't, and I missed none. I missed all of the trips of my All-Stars with basketball. So it was I didn't even get a trip out of it. But they're supposed to be good crack. But I didn't get the experience. We were in 2 cup finals, I think, in 07 and 09. And around that time of year, there's big basketball games going on, so I turned them down to play the basketball. So it's that team is I think will be very close to the All-Star team, I would say.
Yeah.
And maybe you're right. Maybe Michael Murphy has absolute genuine shout to be in there. It's just hard to see who you drop from it.
Look, I don't envy that selection, their decision. Right, we're going to make some predictions. These ones are predictions for the rest of the year as opposed to just predictions for the weekend. We're going to recap all of these predictions in the new year, so choose wisely. Who do they give Player of the Year to in football? Not your pick, but who you think will actually ultimately end up getting it.
I think Stephen Cluxton will get it.
Who would your pick be?
Stephen Cluxton.
Yeah, okay. I think it should be Cluxton, but we had Michael Quinlivan in earlier on in the week, and he was just like, I think I'm probably going to give it to Con. The forwards, he thought that the forwards would end up picking a forward, and they might,
Yeah, so I just think they wouldn't be.
How does this work? Do you get a ballot through the post? Do you get a text? What so?
They wouldn't be they wouldn't even have been in the replay without Cluxton.
No, it's true. It's true.
You know.
This is voted for by the players. Did you vote for it when you were playing?
Yes.
You did, yeah?
Yeah.
And is it like...
And he'll be my vote,
right,
if I was playing. But I'm has been now, so I don't get the vote. But I think it's done. Isn't it done kind of half and half? Isn't there?
The nominations come from the journalists, and the vote itself, I think, is exclusively with the players.
Exclusively with the players. Yeah, I think players recognise Cluxton's greatness at 37 and what he's done throughout his career, and how good he was in the big games this year, and you know how good he is under the high ball. Like he came out and won 3 of those high balls
in the first 10 minutes.
And there's carnage going on around the square, and he's coming out with the ball, and then he's making the big save on Stephen O'Brien. And you heard the stuff about how he was disappointed with Killian Spillan's goal.
Yeah. And looking at his footwork. Same question for the hurling.
Paddy Maher.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to
see that stat in him that he hasn't in 10 years hasn't missed a minute of championship football.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I saw it and I was like, there's no way that can be true.
Callan scored a goal in every game.
Yeah, shame he's right there. It's the two of them, and I think it'll be a toss up between them. Just when I heard that stat out of Maher and how inspirational he is for them back there and how solid he was all year, and he just comes out with big plays, big balls at times, big rocks that need to be won. He's coming out with them. Okay,
so you're going Paddy Maher. I'll go Callan just for the sake of debate here. Who will be named Irish Sports Person of the Year? This is easy. This is a shoe-in. There's only one Irish Sports Person of the Year.
Go on, give me yours.
Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry. And look, unless Ireland...
We're
not going to. if we win the World Cup, if we actually win a World Cup, there's a chance that whoever is the player of the tournament, because we would need that person to be player of the tournament.
Is
Shane Lowry. But even then, I think Shane Lowry wins.
I think so because of how much pressure there was on him going into that final round, how he handled himself all week. Just that whole weekend with how he played on the Saturday was amazing to get the lead, and that first hole when I remember Kerry were playing Donegal the same day, and I was sitting in the hotel room and I was watching the golf and trying to stay as late as possible before I went across the road, and that first hole I was like, this is huge.
Yeah.
And he makes the big putt.
Yeah, that was
it. And Fleetwood missed his.
That killed Fleetwood.
It killed Fleetwood. It was a little dagger, and Lowry skipped off the green, happy enough with it. And I think we'd be delighted all for him to win that, because the way he won that Open was unbelievable.
How far do Ireland go in the World Cup?
Realistically, probably quarter final. I'd love to say and go up my heart and say they'll go all the way and win it, but they do have the ability if they hit the purple patches, if they hit the momentum in the game. I think Joe Smith has a few things up his sleeve. He's a very smart individual. He's done remarkably well with this Irish rugby team, and I think they could be there, but that quarter-final game, I think we can take South Africa, but the All Blacks would be scary for me.
I'm going to say beaten in the final. That's what I'm saying. That's my prediction.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, who cares?
Okay.
Who's top of the Premier League table at Christmas?
Liverpool.
And who's going to make up the top of the rest of the top four?
Man City, Spurs, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what my top four would have been as well. 2 quick ones for the road. On Sunday at 4:30, live and off the ball, it's Chelsea versus Liverpool.
I'm going to go with Chelsea. Liverpool are back from a tough trip from Italy. It was Tuesday night, so they'll be fine. But I think Chelsea need this one badly. And I think the whole league will be shouting for them, because Liverpool have jumped into a quick little lead, and people want it tight this year. So I think Chelsea to maybe, I hope Mason Mount is fit. He's been a revelation this year, and I like to look at Chelsea. And at home at the Bridge, it always gives us a chance, and it's the type of game where, it's Liverpool are fancied obviously to win it, but it's the type of game that the first goal will be huge.
I think Liverpool are going to win that one
comfortably.
3-1, 2-0 kind of.
Okay.
relatively comfortable. And then Ireland versus Scotland, Sunday, 8:45 a.m. What happens?
Ireland are going to get this done, aren't they? Scotland are scary because you just don't know what they're going to throw at you. But I just think this Irish team are ready for it, and Joe will have them right. And
A tight game?
I think it'll be tight. Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be tight, especially if conditions are given the way they are. I think it's going to be very tight. But in a tight game with conditions bad, I think the more disciplined and the more rigid team will win. Scotland like to throw the ball around, and if it's this monsoon or whatever comes in,
Yeah. Ireland are going to win with an intercept try, and we're going to break their hearts at some point in the second half. That's my prediction.
yeah, I like all that. That's good.
Another shot clock is in the books. 2019 shot clock is in the books. We'll be back. New and improved shot clock for you coming in 2020.
Yeah,
So,
looking forward to it in January. Bring it on.